The slave market. After a few days, the Indians were chained to the walls of the hold. They could walk only a little way, but they could stand up and lie down, and their hands were free. Sometimes they were quiet for hours. Sometimes they talked a little and tried to see one another's faces in the dark. "Is it day or night?" they would ask one another. Sometimes they talked of the white men. "They are bad," said Wawano. "All white men are not like Captain Hunt," said Squanto. "Many white men are good. I know because I lived among them." Some of the Indians wept when they talked of their homes and their people, but they never let the white men know they had wept. When the white men brought food and water, the Indians looked at them with proud faces. They would not answer when the white men spoke to them. The little sailor told Squanto, "Captain Hunt is going to bring all the Indians up on deck for an hour every day. He says it is bad for you to stay all the time in this dark place." Squanto told the others what the little sailor had said. "Captain Hunt cares nothing for us," said Wawano. "He is afraid we will be sick, and he cannot sell us for such a good price." Squanto was one of the first ones to be taken up on deck. It was good to see the sky again. It was good to breathe the fresh air. But it hurt him to see the ocean all around him. There was no land in sight. He thought how near his village had been and how far it was now. For many weeks they sailed. They came in sight of land where the hills were green and the sun was bright and warm. The little sailor told Squanto, "This land is Spain." They sailed along the shore and into a port. On the port was a city of white walls and low houses. The little sailor told Squanto, "This city is Malaga." The next day, the Indians were tied with ropes again. They were tied so that they could stand up and walk. Captain Hunt and his men led them off the ship and into the city. People on the streets stopped to look. Some of them were men in long brown robes. Squanto heard two of Captain Hunt's sailors talking. "See the brothers in their brown robes," said one. "Who are they?" asked the other. "They are good men of the church," said the first sailor. Captain Hunt's men and the Indians came to a square in the middle of Malaga. All about the square were markets where many things were sold. There were ducks, geese, and chickens for sale. There were fish, there were shoes and cloth and lace and flowers. In one corner of the square was the slave market. The Indians were taken to the slave market. Men crowded around to look. They nodded their heads as if they were pleased. An Indian was lifted up on a wooden block. One of the men quickly bought him and paid his money to Captain Hunt. One by one, the Indians were sold and led away. Even before Squanto was put up on the block, men were bidding for him. He could hear them shouting. He could see their faces turned up toward him. He looked away. To one side he saw two men. They were looking at him as if they were sorry for him. He saw the brown robes they wore. He knew that they must be good men of the church. A man with gold rings in his ears pulled Squanto off the block. He poured a bag of money into Captain Hunt's hands and led Squanto across the square. Squanto saw the two men still looking at him. He broke away from the man who had bought him. He ran as fast as he could with the ropes on his legs. He threw himself down before the men in the brown robes. "Oh, help!" he cried. "I no be slave. No, no. Oh, help, please." The men looked down at him. "English," said one of them. "He speaks English." The man with the gold earrings came running after Squanto. He saw the two men and stopped. Squanto lay still. He heard the voice of the man who had bought him. He heard the voices of the other two men. They talked for a long time. He could not understand the language. He never knew what was said. But at last, the man who had bought him went away. The men in brown robes helped Squanto to his feet. "Come," said one of them, "you are free." The two men called themselves Brother Luis and Brother Diego. Brother Luis could speak English. He talked to Squanto as they walked through the streets. "Where is your home?" he asked. "America. Far across sea," said Squanto. They climbed a hill to a church high above the city. Behind the church was a square of small white houses. In front of the houses were gardens and fruit trees. "Welcome," said Brother Luis. "Welcome to our home."